Hi friends, today's video is all about seed planter pots and what you can make with them. And as always, I hope you enjoy the show. I'm starting off with a seed starter pot, and I'm going to start by putting it upside down and then gluing one on top of that. Then I'm going to make the exact same shape and glue it on top of that one. So I am using hot glue, and that's the great thing because these are paper. They are very responsive to hot glue. They held together like nobody's business, so that was a good thing. And by the way, I was worried the craft was going to be too light. By the time I'm done, these are solid. They're not heavy, but they're solid. They're not going to tip. The hot glue adds weight, and all the other things I do add weight. So for the bottom, what I end up doing is gluing two of them together. You can see right there, I glued the two together, and then I'm going to pop that in the bottom. And we're making a decor piece, right? So I'm creating illusion, I'm making shapes here, and this is what we end up with. And I'm taking this color, Khaki by Apple Barrel Paint, and I am going to sponge it onto these and bring out the texture. I also sponged the paint on the inside at the top because depending on how you use these, you might or might not see it. If you have it plain, it can look, for me, this could be a candle holder or you could just leave it empty and it still looks just as good. So I went ahead and painted the inside. Now I'm going to take the white paint and dry brush, and I just love taking the white paint and dry brushing these because it brings out the texture. It's the texture that I'm after. And sometimes when you paint like that, you can't see it anymore. So by doing a lighter color and letting the dark show underneath, look at that. Look at that. It looks so pretty. It looks like a ceramic. I love this. Super easy, no baking soda, no spackling, just texture that's already there. It's awesome. People don't think about these for decor, but if you use acrylic paint, they won't disintegrate. It's only if you start putting spray paint on them, they might disintegrate because they are meant to fall apart when you're planting your pots. So keep that in mind. You want to go with the kids' paint, non-toxic version. So I'm taking these wood pieces I got from Temu and I just start embellishing these. Now, I also considered half wooden beads, and to be honest with you, I think I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to use the half wooden beads and do exactly what I'm doing here and just do it with the circles instead because I think that would also be an incredibly beautiful look. I might even paint those if I end up doing the circles. I just want to try different things because my daughter is taking this one. She has put in a stake for this one. She saw it too. I really like that, Mom. I want to put that on my mantle. I go, okay. This has definitely got an Anthropologie Pottery Barn vibe. I love this. Let me know what you think. Starting with our seed planter pot right there, the starter pot, and we are going to trim off the edges just a little bit for this one. I did want them to look a little distressed and rough, but not like paper. You know what I mean? Remove anything that gives it away that it's paper. Next, we're going to take this paper towel roll, and I found out I wanted, to get the straight lines on the side that I needed. I really needed to cut it the way you just saw. I kept trying to cut it straight as a circle and it was just squishing it and bending it because this paper towel roll isn't really firm. Save those ones, like with the parchment paper. You could kill someone with those. They're so tough. You guys know what I'm talking about. They are so strong. That would be better for this, like the ones you need a saw for. Those would be even more sturdy for this one, but these came out beautiful too. So this is what we have so far. And now I'm taking some silver paint, mostly because that's all I had. I think if you have gold paint to start with, you should, but I didn't have enough gold paint. So this is how we improvise. So I'm painting it silver because it is a metallic paint. And then once it's got at least one coat on, the paper doesn't soak up so much paint, but I did have the gold rub and buff. This is my first time working with this, and I didn't realize it smells just like spray paint, everyone. Warning, warning. So be prepared for that. I think it's just thickened spray paint that you can actually work with. Really neat though. I really enjoyed working with it. As you can see, it comes up absolutely gorgeous. So I gave it a rough coat of the rub and buff. And then for the inside, I chose to make them black. I just thought that was a nice shadow. And they're supposed to be like, if you haven't guessed, bells. And they're antique bells. You know how some bells have this rough metal surface like this. Is that not awesome? And the bottom of them are kind of chipped because they're old. I've seen bells that are real that look like this. So pretty exciting. So this is the leftover handle from one of those foam brushes that they sell at the Dollar Tree. I saved those and I just cut it. Then I sanded it, and look at that. Those are going to be my little faux wooden bell ringers, I guess. And I'm going to take some twine, tie it in a knot, and then glue it on the bottom of these cups in the center. And then I'm going to cut the twine to the right length that I want and glue the little pretend bell ringer at the bottom. And look at that. I decided to leave these raw wood, by the way, because I thought if you darken them up, you're not going to see them, because I painted the inside of the bell black. So I just wanted them to be raw wood. I might finish them with Mod Podge or something just to make them look a little more finished, but I like them just raw wood. And then to finish the top, I took some twine and I tied it, and then I wrapped that tie part up with the twine. I hope you can see what I'm doing right there to give it that look. See it? I just thought that looked good. Then I took some fire, my flame, and I singed off all of the excess hair. I don't like that. You can leave it if you want, you guys. I just think it looks more finished when you singe it. I just had to be careful not to set my paper bells on fire. And then, of course, I pulled them up, put them into strategic little heights there so they looked pretty, and tied it in a knot where I wanted it to be. And I added some pine and berries, which I actually didn't get a video of, but I think these came out so good and they cost pennies on the dollar. We're going to start with this Christmas MDF sign that I found at Dollar Tree, and we're just going to take off the ribbon, of course. And then I'm going to be honest here, I suck at measuring. I just do. I've tried, not for the basic measurements, but like when it comes to those little centimeters in between, I can't do it. So the way I find my center is I just use a piece of twine or a string, and I get the middle of it by bending it in half. And that's how I found the middle on this sign where I'm going to cut. Next, I'm going to use this handy dandy little crafting saw. I love this thing. So many people ask me about it. If you're interested, let me know and I will leave you the link. But I went ahead and cut my MDF board. As you can tell, it makes the job much easier, and I just sanded to make everything nice and even. Then I wanted to try a different technique here. Now, some of you have seen me do this before, but instead of using a brush, I was using this spatula to paint. And sometimes I kind of let it skip on purpose. See, on the left-hand side, you can actually let it skip and just leave it. And it looks like chippy paint. So if you're down for that look, it's awesome. But this time I actually wanted to paint it on and get like, well, that look right there. It adds interest for the eye. It adds texture. It adds dimension. And I just thought that looks kind of pretty. And it did come out really pretty, actually. But that's what it looks like right now. So I set that aside to dry. Now I'm going to grab my little seed starter pot and cut it in half. And that's the awesome thing about working with these. Not only do they have beautiful texture, but you can cut them and shape them, which you really can't do with a clay pot, ceramic pot, right? It just, yeah. Plastic you could, but these have the texture. I love them. And of course I got 20 of them for $1.25. So you can paint these cream brown. I think that would be really pretty, and I've seen that done before in similar DIYs, but I wanted to do something really different here. I want to make these soft and I wanted to make them feel really happy. So I went for lavender. Then I dry brushed some white acrylic paint over it to bring out that beautiful texture I was talking about, and I took some hot glue and glued them down on top of the MDF board signs that I had cut out. And this is what we have so far. So after this, I just wanted to decorate them a little bit. This would be a great spring craft or a summer craft. You could leave them up all throughout summer or Easter. This would work for any or all of those seasons. And now I am taking the Dollar Tree lace and I'm just decorating it. I put some on the front there. And then the Dollar Tree also had this really pretty purple and white gingham print ribbon, and I purchased that, and I thought this is a perfect time to make a bow. Now, as you can see, I did cut that ribbon down the center to make it really thin because these are petite, and I felt like the regular size would be too big. And then I'm going to take some of the lavender that I have from Walmart. These were just screaming lavender to me, probably because they're lavender. I don't know. I was just feeling very purple that day. So I am putting the green fern behind just as a nice backdrop to the lavender and to add some more florals in there. And then I'm using this 14 gauge wire from Walmart, and we're going to make hooks for these. And I did that because I wasn't confident that Dollar Tree had the hole in the center to hang it, and you can manipulate it and make it straight by using wire. Little hack for you right there. Let me know what you think. For this one, I'm using the seed starter pots from Dollar Tree, and they have a little rim on the bottom, which is really pretty, and it ended up making an absolutely gorgeous bottom for this, I guess it's a candlestick holder right there. I'm also showing you, if you don't have the seed starter pots, you could always substitute it with an applesauce cup. So the first thing I did was I took this Dollar Tree birdhouse, which came with a really thick string, and it had a knot on the bottom, and then I tried to pull it out, it didn't come out, so I ended up just pushing it down so it fell inside the house, and then I shook it through the windows that way. I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I was a woman on a mission. I was determined to get that knot out, and I did. So you can always use long tweezers if you had them. So I am using caulking here because I didn't have any spackling. So just so you guys know, you can use wood filler, caulking, joint compound, spackling, even air dry clay in a pinch to fill a small hole like that. It's not even your hot glue. It's not going to make a huge difference. So I used what I had, and I'm using hot glue to glue it down. Chose hot glue because if you use any kind of industrial glues, it will eat away at the seed starter pot because they're meant to disintegrate just with water. So you have to be really careful, and water-based paints work best with these because once they're dry, it's pretty much harmless. In fact, I have found in the past it actually protects the seed starter pot so it doesn't disintegrate by having something on the outside of it that's acrylic. It's very well. So far, we're going 3 years, knock on wood. I have an item, it hasn't fallen apart. So I painted the birdhouse pink and the bottom of it like an aquamarine, a soft color. If you have a 1950s style kitchen, you know what I mean, with the pink refrigerators or the soft pastel yellow refrigerators, this would be a perfect kitchen counter decor piece. But I was making at the time for Easter and spring, and I did take it outside and I did cover it with the Mod Podge spray, just the glass part, because it was acrylic paint that I was forced to use. I wanted to make sure the top and sides and a little bit of the bottom were covered. I added a raffia bow, some foam roses from Dollar Tree, and moss, and it came up so beautiful. You'll have to let me know what you think. For this one, I pressed some computer paper inside that little house and I made a template, and then I cut out some of the Dollar Tree peel and stick wallpaper, and I'm just putting it inside the center. And to get rid of the shine a little bit, I hit it with some white paint. I just dry brushed it on there to get rid of the shine. That ends up being the back, and I'm using a plaque also from the Dollar Tree. I painted it white, and then I paint the back of that little house white, glue it down on the base, and we're taking these little starter seed pots. You can get them usually at Dollar Tree, and I'm cutting it in half. Paint it first with some of the antique parchment from Apple Barrel Paint, and I'm just going to use half of this right there. Then I'm going to make a pretty bow using some twine and some Dollar Tree lace. I go ahead and I glue the half little planter there on the front of that house, and you can see how it's a cream color compared to the white. I fill it up with some lavender and a little bit of Spanish moss, and I put a bow on it and do some dry brushing around the edge. I end up taking a baby wipe just to smear that a little bit because it came on too harsh. You can see that at the top. It came up really, really dark. And this one was a hit. I see it all over on Pinterest now. People have made different versions of it. I love this one. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, you know the drill, and as always, here's another one I think you might enjoy watching next.